Arushapa namba, baridinta stafu, Tomazana. Gifunugu amanawe mfuna manamba. Nalabantwana base bayakala, magnatunginana, matimanekista, barikant katata. Dala stock, puya man. Hero, who stop Superman? Kasi hero, who stop Superman? Oh, hero, who stop Superman? Oh, kasi hero, who's Toku Superman?
Mosi, Tlantla, Naledi, can you do the sound check?
Nothing. Mic check. Actually, yes.
1 2 testing.
Mic check. Okay, le ayisebenzi.
Ithi 1 2.
Akho la.
1
Oh,
2.
mic check.
Can we have the mics on, please? Thank you.
Mic is this. Mic check.
Sing,
Mic
sing,
check.
Nelson
Mic.
Dorma.
Mic. Nelson Dorma.
Baie bang.
Testing. Mic check. Mic check.
Ayangena abantu. Sizomani kanjani?
Bababona ukuthi uyacula ngazi. Musi, cela basayitela ama-mic.
Uthini intro yakho?
Zizi,
Hello. Hello.
i-mic yakho kuphela ekhuluma.
I only have one mic on. Can we have all the mics on, please?
Oh.
Maestro Lindy, over to you.
Amangazi.
Can we decide or
Yeah.
Also unhlanhla kumele abe seduze kwami. Nalethi ungashintshi wena. Wena.
No, that's fine.
Faka i-mic yakho edu. It's fine. Okay, to be super. Tell leyo mic leyo is for the baby's pepper. And be sure
So, yeah, on. So, sifaka pinto.
Mama lapha ayobisi mama mama lapha.
Lightile.
So on track. What's the number?
Ainana. There is a mic here that is not working. Please assist. Thank you.
Mic.
Yeah. Rest. Is your mic on, sir?
No, Dad. No, Dada. No. This one is on, Mara.
It's on in Yana. Yeah.
This mic is off. Hello. One.
Where is
two.
Hewitt?
Hello. One.
Oh. All right. Such a wish. Hmm?
The same note. Oh, it's higher. We must go higher before it ends. Let's go one and
Yeah, but imbi.
one note. For now, Ropela up to because as long as we can hear that all the mics are on. Hello, I.
So just use this one. No,
Okay. One, two. Next. One.
For
Eh?
5?
One.
Yes.
Now. Yeah.
1, 2.
testing.
Yeah. It can be slightly louder, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, just up until.
1,
Just-
2. Can you hear us?
Mario Sogara is a little
1.
Oh, it's up. All right. Ma'am Gonello, when you are ready.
1, 2, 1.
Kosisi keleli Afrika malupaganye suponalwaya izwa imithandazo yethu Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo morena boloka o fedise dintwa le matshwenyego o se boloke setšhaba sa eso setšhaba sa South Africa. Butlali. Okay, Opelang, guys. Let me stand here. Yeah, I want to do that. I want to stand here and hear it. Mem Cornelo. Nkosi sikeleli. This is loud. It's the loudest. This. Your side a little. I don't know now. Lilo nasondela.
Can you have more on this mic? It's mic number 4. Mic number 4.
Okay, so let them.
The bass mic here. Hello? Hello? 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. Are we good? Hello? 1, 2.
Or here. Or here.
This one. Okay. Right.
Mike. Okay.
Mo.
Yeah, leyo iyavakala noba ungasondela
So Anthem.
Kosi. Testing.
Okay, let's go. I'm ready. My.
1. Testing. Check.
Okay, Aropeling route. Zizi, let's sing in here.
All right.
1, 2. Nkosi sikeleli Afrika, maluphakanyiso pondolayo, izwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo, murena buluka sitshaba sa Yesu, ufedise dintwali matshwenye, usibuluke sitshaba sa Yesu, sitshaba sa South Africa, South Africa. A deep love van ons heme, a diepte van ons heme. Sing out. Let's sing out. Whether the mic, if the mic had the Lord pick up, Rona, let's sing out. So that Baru we are Christian. Yeah, but okay. Okay. I'm so Betty. state leader, fellow. Baby. Yes. Bana ba ka reng ro fela ro practice.
So,
Okay, I don't know where to put this, brother. Is it there? Is it the
oh yeah.
or
Yeah,
well, I
get
don't know.
you.
Is this the main for the speeches? Is it this one? Okay, I don't know. But I need to put it somewhere. Can I just put it here? Is that fine? There. Thank you.
morning. Good morning. We will soon be starting with the program. We just wanted to make sure that we settle because at 10 o'clock, the Premier of the province, Mr. David Makhura, and the MEC for Education in the province are on their way in the next few minutes. So what I'm going to request is that when the MEC and the Premier enter the room, may we all rise to welcome them. Will you do that for me? So that when they come in, we all rise and we welcome them. Somebody's going to give us a signal that the Premier is entering, and I'll ask you, let's all rise. And then after that, what we're gonna do, we remain standing. As we remain standing, we will then ask the Eastern School of the Arts to lead us in the singing of the national anthem. Is that correct? And we join them because we all know the national anthem, isn't it? Okay, you join them in the singing of the national anthem. After the singing of the national anthem, we all take our seats, and I'm going to be I'm lining up my students to come because Premier has limited time with us. The MEC is gonna be here with us for the whole time. So I'm going to ask those of you who have been, may we all rise please, as we receive the Premier of the province as well as the MEC for Education. There we go. You can ululate, you can applaud, you can clap, you can do whatever. Let's continue to welcome the Premier of the province of Houthang, Mr. David Makhura, and the MEC for Education in the province, together with our sponsors. And we've got some really, really good sponsors. We have Nashua Kopano, we have Standard Bank, we have got Telkom, we have got Celsi, and you've got me. Thank you so very much. We are ready to start. As we remain standing, I'm going to ask that we get ready to commence with the program, but in the commencement, I want everybody to get to their points, to their seats, because we're gonna be singing the national anthem, and with the singing of the national anthem, there is no movement that we would like to see. Or maybe at this point, may I request, Premier, because there are people that are still coming, can I ask that we maybe have a seat for a moment to allow people to come in? I can see that there's still a few people that are not. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to celebrate a greatest achievement. Firstly, to recognize you. Do you know who you is? You is everybody who's a bazaar of the Gauteng government bursary scheme, managed by the Gauteng City Region Academy. So you are the most important people today, and I'm trying to get everybody else to come. I can see HOD Matilda is here. If you could direct HOD Matilda to that table, please. I'm wanting everybody else to be settled, because once we start with the program, there shall be no interruptions of the program. HOD, can we put HOD Matilda? Thank you very much. Where are our other sponsors? Sponsors are very important people. They carry the money. Let's treat them well today, isn't it? Yes. So our sponsors must be treated well, because I'm going to ask them how much more are they giving us. So we are happy Today we are a happy people. Not in the context of MEC Lesufi. We are the happy people. We are the happy people of Houthang. Who are we today? There we go. This side, are you happy people of Houthang? Thank you very much. So now, because we are all, can we get everybody to come in? Because as soon as I start the program, I'm going to make sure at the singing of the national anthem, we're going to stop everybody getting into the building. Now, at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, may we all rise for the singing of the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa, led by the Eastern School of the Arts, our School of Specialization. During the singing of the national anthem, there shall be no movement. If you are a man and have a hat on, may we respectfully request that you take it off. We will all sit attention to attention and join together in the singing. Where is Gogo? I see Majita at Gogo. Can national anthem rinsas Gogo? So the singing of the national anthem. It's an important thing. Thank you very much. I want us to respect the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa. May we get the Eastern School of the Arts to lead us, please. We will sing along with them, isn't it? They're going to lead, we'll sing along.
Nkosi sikeleli Afrika, maluphakanyiswa ubonakalayo, izwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sikelela thina, lusapho lwayo, murena buluka sitshaba sa Yesu, ufedise ditali matshwenye, usibuluke, usibuluke sitshaba sa Yesu, sitshaba sa South Africa, South Africa. Diplom van ons hemel, die diepte van ons Heer, oor ons ewige gebergtes, waar die krans sy antwoord gee. Sounds a call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You may all be seated. We may all be seated. We are here today to recognize as well as to celebrate an investment in the young people of our province. When you invest in the young people, as it is always the case, we know that we are investing in the future. In this context, I would like to welcome and recognize the presence amongst us of the Premier, the first citizen of the province of Gauteng. Can we put up our thunderous applause to welcome the Premier of the province of Gauteng, Mr. David Makhura. But young people, let me tell you how important you are. Not only have we brought the Premier of the province to speak to you today, we also have brought the MEC for education in this province, MEC Panyaza Lesufi. Can we also give him a round of applause? Can I tell you how important you are? Must I tell you who else is here? We also have in our midst today the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee for Education in the Houthang Provincial Legislature. So this is the man who says, you shall make sure that your education, you apportion a part of your budget to young people. We have amongst us Honorable Matome Chilwani, the member of the Provincial Legislature. Premier has got advisors. We have special advisor to the Premier for service delivery, Mr. Eric Kaiya. We want to welcome him. Can we put our hands together for Mr. Kaiya? But I also have those who go with me. I told you that there are departments in the province other than education. Oh, by the way, I'm in the Department of Education. So I'm a teacher. But we have amongst us the head of department for the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development in the province, Ms. Matilda Gasela, who wants you to become farmers so that there are no problems of food security in the province. Can we welcome Ms. Matilda Gasela as well, ladies and gentlemen? I know that we have our senior officials of government with us here. We have our business partners. I recognized them earlier on. So we want to welcome all of you for having made the time. But more importantly, can we put our hands together to welcome ourselves, the young people of the province of Gauteng, who are representing Gauteng, who are the future, who are trying to show the world that everything is possible only if you persevere, and education is the best weapon that we will use. Another round of applause for ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Having said that, Premier, we have young people, and before we ask you to come, I must tell you about this young one because, and I know she does not know that I remember her name. She comes from a school called the Fakel. And on a particular morning, I'm driving to work. And I get this anonymous call on my phone, and it is her mother. And say, my daughter was at the awards ceremony for at the matric results. And this child does not know how to claim her bursary. Her name is Caitlin Block, and I'm going to request Caitlin to please come and share her story of how she has come. She is studying Bachelor of Science, Astronomy, and Astrophysics. Let's do this.
I'd like to greet our Premier of Gauteng, Mr. David Makhura, our MEC of Education in Gauteng, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, and all other distinguished guests. All protocols observed. I am Caitlin Block. I live in an in Ennerdale, Johannesburg South. I matriculated in 2021 from Roerskool Die Fakkel, and I'm proud to call myself a recipient of the GCRA bursary. South Africa is one of the most unequal countries in the world, and this has led to the everyday citizen like you and me unable to afford tertiary education, which in this day and age is essential in the job market. Words cannot express how grateful I am to the Gauteng Department of Education. What a relief to no longer worry about accommodation fees, tuition fees, and textbooks, and to no longer feel guilty for putting my parents through tremendous loan repayments and other financial worries. I am pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Astronomy and Astrophysics at the University of the Witwatersrand. It's such a joy to wake up each morning knowing that I am going to a place where my dreams are no longer dreams but reality. All because of the GCRA bursary program. I know all the learners sitting here today share the same sentiments as me. I thank the Gauteng Department for investing in my future. I hope to one day be an asset to this country by being the first female South African to obtain a Nobel Prize in physics. Thank you.
Now this is the first future Nobel Laureate in Astrophysics. Kaylin. I want you to know, I want her to tell her the number of distinctions she got last year.
6 distinctions.
6 distinctions she got last year, and now on her way to being the astrophysicist and a Nobel laureate. Our round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, my dear. Premier, it does not end there. We have more. There are those that want to rule the skies. And as we rule the skies, I want to call Thulani Dlamini, who's studying. Is he a pilot already? He will come and tell us. But may I call upon Thulani Dlamini, who is dealing with, funded by the GCRA, for a commercial pilot license.
Hello, Nyangezi. Sanibonani, igama lami uThulani wakwaDlamini. So ngineminyaka ewu-19 and I grew up in Barcelona and Daveyton. I went to school at Likamoso Secondary School where I did my matric in 2020. So as I can say, growing up was never easy due to the fact that I came from a financially challenged family, of which will best describe my family background. I always had a dream of becoming a pilot and to one day transport people around the world. But as I grew up, I saw that chances of making my dream a success were getting slimmer and slimmer. This was, of course, due to financial reasons, as many of you know. But my friend introduced me to GCRA, and I applied in 2021 and got accepted. Initially, GCRA didn't cater for pilot students, but this was made possible thanks to the MEC, the Premier, and the CEO of GCRA. I'm now enrolled in an aviation training organization known as Johannesburg School of Flying. And I believe that my dream will come true one day. I would like to thank the GCRA, the Premier, the CEO, and everybody who fought for us, including Ms. Tobile, Ms. Tapsile, Ms. Pelina, and Ms. Nanahulu. I would also like to thank my parents for the support that they gave me throughout from sasemncane until manje bekungekho lula, but eish. Bengithanda ukubonga kakhulu especially ku-GCRA for ukusifunda, because lokhu kusho okukhulu kimi nakubazali bami, and ngiyathemba nasemphakathini kusho okukhulu kakhulu. Ngiyabonga.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Captain Dlamini speaking. That's what you will be saying the next time around. A round of applause to Captain Dlamini. Thank you.
Not only do we deal with captains, Premier, we have a problem of load shedding. But as we deal with problems of load shedding, we are also training young people who will make sure that load shedding becomes a problem of the past. So we have, the GCRA has trained one of those, and I wanted to, one of those that are coming to speak here, Premier, is, and can I confirm that Sihle is here? Sihle here? Okay. We have Premier, let me tell you about this other one. I'm told that he could not be here. Sihle Simelane, a fourth-year Bachelor of Science Electrical Engineering student at Wits, funded by the GCRA. He was a top 3 student, current from Zikatele Secondary School. During his academic career at the University of Witwatersrand up to now, he has obtained 11 distinctions in electrical engineering. So as we move along, because I know that there are others that have testimonies to make, and I'm going to request that we punctuate and allow the Premier to come and speak, and other students will come and speak afterwards. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to call upon the MEC for Education in the province of Houthang, Honorable Panyaza Lesufi, to come and address us and introduce to us the Premier of the province. Can we put our hands together for MEC Panyaza Lesufi to come over?
Oi, oi, my students, oi, oi. Oi, oi, my students, oi, oi. Anginizwa. Kimureki phela manje. Ngathi niyakhohle. Or kini namureki. Hawu, oi, oi, my students, oi, oi. Oi, oi, Premier, oi, oi. Uyabona manje yazwakala. Thank you so much, Program Director. The surname of our Program Director is Musuwe. And in Sesotho, Musuwe is a teacher. And the HOD is the HOD of the Department of Education. So it's appropriate that a Musuwe is the HOD of Education. So Ntate Msuwe, Araleboa, thank you so much, and the entire leadership that you lead in the department. the advisor to the Premier and the entire leadership that is coming from the Gauteng Provincial Government, represented here by various HODs, our sponsors, all of them. I don't want to mention name and leave others outside. Thank you so much for believing in our department, but most importantly to the Gauteng government for partnering us on all these gifts, investments, and other things that you are bringing to all of us. The chairperson of the portfolio committee, Ntate Matume Chilwane, representing the legislature, a very, very important arm of government to ensure that we do everything that we've committed ourselves to do. All our honored guests, including our students and their parents that are here. I'm proud to declare to you that as the Gauteng Department of Education, we are nothing else but dream shapers. We are dream makers, and we want to change the face of human capital, not only in our province, but completely across the country. We want to leave the past and concentrate on the future. We've just finalized what we called our Master Skills Plan 2. It's a document that dictates to us the kind of skills Gauteng will need by 2030. And 2030 is not that far. And we've positioned ourselves to be at the center of the development of those particular skills. As we are all here, reality is that the cars that we are driving will be obsolete. There's something that is called driverless cars that are coming in the market. And when we have driverless cars, it means the current traffic lights are going to be obsolete. If you are talking about driverless cars, it means the current tar roads that we know will be obsolete. And in the process, we need to create young minds that will respond to those new things. A driverless car, bantwana bami, is very simple. Ungena kuyo, you'd say Sentin. You don't drive, you sit, you make your makeup, it takes you to Sentin. It stops where there is a stop sign, it stops where the traffic light says stop, and it parks itself, and it allows you to go out and go and do your business. You will have more time to yourselves rather than wasting time driving a car. That's the future that we're investing in. We are talking about a future that will take care of everything that you need. Just imagine staying in your own house with your only credit card, ordering something nice at Nando's, my favorite chicken. And you don't have to drive with a Uber driver or a scooter anytime. That a nice, beautiful drone will fly to your house, and that drone will say, Madibu saying, your order is ready. In doing so, it means we need new skills, we need new personnel, new ideas, and many other things. But the biggest one is to convert all of you, young people, that this country must no longer be a country of consumers, must be a country of producers. We are tired of buying things from other people. It's time they buy things from us as well, so that we can compete and we can develop and we can be a better nation as well. And it lies in your hands. All the elderly people that are in this house, including my premier and myself, we all came here looking for something that is called gold. That's why we're more Houthang again. We came here looking for gold. That gold is gone. The future gold, it's you. It's you who will create jobs. It's you who will create opportunities. That is why this Gauteng government loves you. And that is why we are here to give you this bursary so that you can succeed in life. But it's not me, ladies and gentlemen. It's one person that always defends the budget of Gauteng, of education. It's one person, even during COVID, when other people wanted to prioritize any other thing, he said the Department of Education and the Department of Health should be shielded and be supported during this difficult period. Every time there is an urgent need that we present to the Budget Premier Committee about education and the budget that we need, this particular leader, this particular individual will always prioritize us. So today, ki Chief Mureki. And that's the one that made it possible for all of you to be where you are in your institutions so that you can have your own bursaries. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the person when became a premier and government gave him a house. He said, no, government, thank you so much for this particular house, but sell it, and the money that you get from selling the house, give it as a bursaries to students of Gauteng. This is the person that believes in education, and I'm proud. And all of you, I know, in all the institutions that you are enrolled at, there is a movement called the South African Student Congress. This is the former second president of the student movement that is called SASCO. That is why the interests of students will always be closer to his heart. Ladies and gentlemen, Scala Lapa, put your hands together. Shai Zandla Lapa, for the Premier of Gauteng. Come, bring them. Ladies and gentlemen, the Premier of Gauteng, Untitled David Makhura. Premier.
Thank you. Thank you very much, MEC Lesufi. Thank you so much. Dumelang, Sanbonan, Molweni, Ndimacheroni, Abshen, Lochani, Huyemore. Good morning. Jambo Africa. Let me first, before I say anything else, say that MEC Lesufi, thank you very much. Today is a service delivery Friday. We have 2 days a week. Thursday, Friday are service delivery days. So for MEC Lesufi, this is the service delivery day for him. So I see you a service delivery then. Is this not service delivery, guys? Masim Shailen is under. No, Akili Utibahulu. Thank you so much. But I am on my way to my service delivery Friday. So he is busy here with his service delivery Friday. I still have to go. So he asked me to pass by here just to thank you. And let me start by the following acknowledgements. Firstly, our MEC for Education in Gauteng. Education and youth development. We always say youth development goes with education because the first act of empowering the youth is to educate them. Uneducated youth are very dangerous young people, hopeless, even if they have a talent, but if they are not educated, if you don't give young people the opportunity to have that level of self-confidence born out of being educated, you are denying, robbing them of their futures. So education is the first act of decisive act of development. And investing in the youth, the first thing you do is to educate them. So MEC Lesufi, thank you very much for the work you are doing for our province, a dedicated MEC who is out there wherever there is a problem, first act of intervention, visible, camp there until the problem is solved. We appreciate your work, MEC Lesufi. I want to acknowledge the chair of the Education Portfolio Committee. In the legislature, we call them Honorable Matumi Chilwani, a youth himself, very passionate about education. Masim Shaileni Zanda, we are in the oversight. And this thing called oversight, the budget won't pass if he doesn't support it. If our budgets are passed by the legislatures, if he's the first person who moves the budget, if he's satisfied that it meets the needs of young people. So the things I'm going to talk about how much we have been spending on particularly educating our youth at university is Honorable Chilwani, who really has been supporting this, but he is also very firm. When he thinks that the education department is not really following up on its commitment, he's very firm. He holds us accountable. He holds the MEC and the HOD accountable. I want us to acknowledge our sponsors, principally Nashua Kopano, Samsung, Telkom, Celsi, Standard Bank. These guys there will be an indication of what they are giving, but what they are giving is really the beginning. We must thank them in advance, not just for what they are giving now, what they are going to continue to give in future. Let's thank them in advance. I want us to thank the team of administrators, the HOD of education, the HOD of GDAD. I'm told there are a few HODs here. The HOD of GDAD, the CEO of the GCRA. They are just doing their work. So we're not thanking them for doing their work because they are doing that work. We pay them for doing that work. We're thanking them for being conscientious that they must do the work they are paid for. It's important because there are civil servants who are just check collectors. And they're just busy all the time. They don't do their work. So we must thank you, colleagues, for being conscientious civil servants. And all the senior managers who are here from the Department of Education, we thank you for being conscientious. There are stakeholders and partners, including universities and TVET colleges and SITAs. I want to thank you today. That's why I am here. I'm here to thank you for the partnership, the great partnership you have with our provincial government. Their parents, you know our biggest partners in the education of young people in our country, the education of the youth, is the parents. And I always emphasize, it doesn't matter whether your parent is educated or not. And never ever forget the support you get from your parents, even if they've never been to university, even if your parent, your mother or father cannot read or write. They are your first pillar of strength. They brought you on earth. They took care of you when you couldn't take care of yourself. They may not be giving you a bursary, they may not have that money, but that support, sometimes they don't express it. I want to express it on their behalf. They are your strongest, they are the backbone of you as young people. They are your backbone. And sometimes as clever young people, we tend to think, well, this cleverness just comes from me. Yes, it's my efforts, yes, your effort. But it doesn't mean if someone has not been to school, they are not intelligent and they are not wise. So it's very important. I want to, personally, I thank the parents for doing the work that they are doing because that's their job. You brought these kids on earth. You may not be as better off. Some are. But the real investment, many of you who work, you have spent, middle-class people spend their biggest amount of money on educating their children. You have bonds, you drive vehicles that are essentially belonging to the banks and these houses, but your biggest saving is making sure your child gets better education. And they actually get better educated than you. That's the next generation must always be better than the last one. That's what we dream for our children. We dream for our children to achieve higher than what we were able to achieve. If in my family, like I was the first in my family to go to university, it's not good enough. I tell my children, it's not good enough for them to go to university. They need to, that was great for me. The They need to achieve higher than just getting to university and getting a basic degree. In the world in which we live today, a basic degree is not good enough. And I'm going to say something a little bit on that very briefly. We want to thank our undergraduate as well as postgraduate students. 2 years ago in this hall, I said to MEC Lesufi and his team, the GCRA need to expand its horizons. Let's fund also postgraduate students. And postgraduate students used to get the GCRA degree, and then if you want to further your studies, you have to go elsewhere and look around. Now we are able to, that's not the biggest amount we allocate. We must always get everybody to stand on their 2 feet. A basic degree is 2 feet. But we have postgraduate students that we are funding, and let's give them a big round of applause with our undergraduate students. But the stars of today, really, the stars of today are the ones who, this is their first year at university. You know, I remember my first year at university, and it's a long time ago. It's a great achievement. Firstly, just to break from your parents' sense of freedom, this thing that you are on your own. The question is, what are you going to do with that freedom? Because you can mess it up. Your first year at university is the most difficult year. A university and school are not the same. Adapting from being away from home and doing things on your own. Sometimes even the brightest students struggle when they get to university in their first year. Those guys called lecturers come there. They really don't worry about whether you're attending lectures or not. They come there, do their work, and in many places they don't even do that thing of the register. They come there, do their work, and then you'll get the test, and then you'll get the exam. That's where they are going to come face to face with you. So I think it's extremely important that those who have just come out of school, who are going to university for the first, you guys are going to need lots of support. You're going to need lots of support because this is your most trying year. If you thought matric was this, you don't know, you ain't know nothing yet. Matric is a challenging year, but it is not the most difficult year. First year can break you as follows. Because when you go to university, you raise hopes and expectations, yourself and family and friends. They say, she did very well at matric, now she's at university. That first year can break you. And the ones who get distinctions in first year, I really take my hat off for you. First year is a very, very difficult year. And when you get through first year, I can assure you, you are really, really done. Get your first year well. Have the kind of friends who will make sure you go to the library. And first year may be the year that you get an allowance. I don't know how much allowance MEC Lesufi they get. It may be the first year that you really have money in your, and we need you to have bank accounts, guys. I know that Standard Bank is going to talk about something related to making sure that you guys are bankable. First year, that money may break you. It may be the first year that you have money that belongs to you and you tap on that. And let me tell you, many young people end up, it's the first year of drinking, of binging with friends. There's no home to say, what time did you come here? And then doing all kinds of things. Girls, first year can also break your leg. Not just break you, break your leg. And it can be a very sad thing. End of the year, you come back home. In your first year, you have no exams to produce. And universities exclude. We have fought against this, remember Chilwani and MEC Lesufi. We have fought against this from the 80s. We've been fighting against university exclusions as student leaders. But universities will exclude you. So you don't pass, they give you red card. But you must also know, as the GCRA, we can't fund people who are not making progress. As the Gauteng Provincial Government, we want you to make progress. You get funded on condition that you are going to show results. And let me, because we know you, we were once students too. So end of the year, you have not qualified to write exams. You're supposed to tell them at home, they want results. You tell stories, hey, our results, what, the university has got problems with sending us this, and then that, and that. We will get them in January. January comes, you don't know what to say to your parents. Hey, this and that. Stories, guys, stories, let me tell you, we know those stories. The GCRA needs a report that demonstrates progress. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You just need to get out of stories by focusing on your first year and doing your best. Be at the library. Yes, you also need to learn. First year is the year that is the journey for leadership. It's not just an academic journey. We don't just want to produce highly qualified or certificated robots that are not human. It's also to help ensure you broaden your social development and your horizons. Make friends for good cause. Don't go into drugs. Don't go into all the funny things. But also try a little bit to understand student politics. And give yourself a chance to develop leadership skills. University is also about that. Leaders are made out of those universities. When you get your degree, you must also say, I'm a leader. I have tested my skills. I used to do this, represent students on this. I sat in that committee. I did that. That's comprehensive because we don't just want to produce, as I said, skilled academic skills. We want to produce able leaders for the future for our country. I was also advised that we have the Royal Kingdom of Raphathelo in Limpopo here who are attending and supporting this. Let's welcome Mahoshi. Mahoshi are very, very important in our system. So two things. The first one is the Gauteng Provincial Government has empowered 30,000 young people. Since 2009, when we started with this bursary scheme, we have empowered 30,000 young people out of the schools of Gauteng who have passed well. You have to pass well. You have to do well. In fact, now we are at a stage where the top 3 learner in every school gets a bursary. But we have, from 2009 to up to this year, we have done over 30,000 students in Gauteng. From 2014 alone, we have done, so of that 30,000, between 2014 and 2020, 16,000 of that 30,000 were done just in the period between 2014 and now. That's essentially, in 8 years, we have done that. Again, every year we are increasing the coverage. And I am told just in the past 2 years, we have doubled the number of students who are receiving bursaries from about 1,800 in 2018, and this year is 3,700. We have also been increasing. We used to spend about 150 million in the period before 2014. Now we spend over 350 million per annum on bursaries dedicated to equipping young people from Gauteng schools with the necessary skills. I want to go back to what MEC Lesufi was saying. We live in a tough world, guys. This thing called the 4th Industrial Revolution is very real. I was last night addressing the universities of technology on the 4th Industrial Revolution. One of the fundamental issues is 35% of the jobs that exist now and 35% of the skills that exist now will not be needed in a few years from now. Just a decade down the line. Just by that, by that 2030, some of the occupations in the world, 35% of those jobs that exist and those occupations that exist will not exist at that time. And there are going almost 41% of new jobs that did not exist and new occupations that do not exist. Almost 41% of them are in the making. You know how complex this is? Essentially, it means we must be developing the skills of the future. We must be preparing you not just for the jobs that exist now from these companies that are supporting here. We must also be preparing you for the jobs of the future. The occupations and the jobs that don't exist. It's a tough job for our universities. They have to anticipate, they have to plan. And one of the universities in our province, the University of Johannesburg, has established the Institute for Future Knowledge, not current knowledge. Again, in that they are doing anticipatory research, future studies, about what type of knowledge will be required and will be fit for the world that is coming. That's rapidly changing, not just in terms of technology, but rapidly changing in many areas. A world that's rapidly urbanizing, because the world, by 2030, urbanization would have reached levels above 70% across the world. South Africa has already reached levels of urbanization that has passed that. Africa is going to be the key driver of that urbanization. The global south, rather than the global north or the west, the global south is going to be the key driver of that urbanization. Most young people are going to be based in cities, and cities will not cope in terms of the infrastructure and the opportunities of jobs. They would not cope with the demands of that future unless the cities themselves are adequately prepared. And the factories and firms and businesses that do not prepare for that dispensation in a highly urbanized world, they too will not cope. Highly urbanized and well driven by the fourth industrial revolution. But a world that also has got other challenges like climate change. The climate crisis is increasing. A world that also faces the threat of conflicts and war. Conflict and war are not things of the past. We see it in the Ukraine now. Conflicts and war has huge impact in undermining development. A world also that is faced other challenges, that is increasingly becoming more unequal. That a world in which inequality is reaching unprecedented levels in human history. Those are the challenges you are going to face in your world. So our universities, our institutes of technology, our TVET colleges, and so our basic education system itself has to be prepared for that type of world. That's why we are investing so much in basic education, in technology, the deployment of ICT in education, but also changing the curriculum and including in at ECD level, starting to get the babies at ECD level to build this new, we are building future ECDs of the future. We are building them now. They are not places just where children are dumped there by parents rushing to work for them to go and play there. They are places to go and learn. And children learn in ways adults don't understand. And technology is their thing. Babies, even a baby still crawling there in a family, we just see the baby starting to change the channels. Technology is their thing. Why are we spending so much money in investing in you? We are preparing you for a world that is increasingly complex. But we're also preparing you socially and conscientiously and politically. We want to shape your consciousness and awareness to want to live in a just and more equal world, sensitive to environment, climate justice, environmental justice, gender justice, greater sense of respect for women, and that women and men are equal, and we want to build a world where we break down those walls, and equality, because one of the things you must know is South Africa's corporate world still has race as a big problem. You know, young people think, we go to university, we are equal, we go to UCT together, we go to VETS, black and white, men and women. Until you get a qualification and you get into the corporate world, I know this for a fact as a father. These kids get the best qualifications together. When they get to the corporate world, suddenly you find somebody you studied with at university, you beat them. They are just white or they are male. In the corporate world, your first job, you experience stress, mental health problems. You have been this confident child who's been beating everybody. When you get to work, you are treated first as black. This is the reality you are going to come back to. That's why we have to change. So that's why we want you also, in addition to achieving academically, you must know the country in which you live. And you must fight for breaking down these barriers to build a more equal society, a more fair and just society. But also to come out of university, look around the communities in which you live. Contribute to development in your communities. You can't just say, I got a degree, I'm okay. But your neighbor, the child of your neighbor who needs support from you, you got support from us. We're supporting you so you become a conscious agent for change. Even if you were to take from your own salaries. Sometimes people supported by government get spoiled. You get educated by government, you can't use your own money to educate another child you know. You think, no, the government must provide. We have to take this thing out of your mind, this thing of self. That's Charlotte Makhura. That if the country has given so much to me, the provincial government, yes, this is taxpayers' money, it must be used well, has helped educate me. But what can I do for my country? Instead of what should my country do for me? You know, it's a very famous quote of a US President J.F. Kennedy. So we want in you, young people, we don't want spoiled children. We want children who are also going to contribute to building a non-racial South Africa. They must be agents of non-racial change, equality, gender equality, justice. They must be agents where they see problems in communities. They must contribute to solving those problems. And it's absolutely important from where we stand that you also understand that you are leaders. We are preparing you for leadership, black and white. This is a great country. We can't complain about what the previous generations have not achieved, but you must take responsibility to build a country amongst which all South Africans will be proud. We want to build that, an economy that's thriving, that's creating employment, but you must contribute to creating employment. So we must also get this thing out of your heads, that I'm going to university in order to look for a job. Let me add to the Institute of the Future of Knowledge. There's another University of Tshwane University of Technology, has established an institute. We launched it last year, the Institute for the Future of Work. So the others are studying the future of knowledge. UJ is studying the future of knowledge. TUT is studying the future of work. In fact, MEC, they have asked me to come and give a lecture there on the future of work. So I was talking to them last night on the 4IR and its impact and implications for development. This issue of the future of work, again, is about these issues around, as you go through training today, education and learning, we have to anticipate what will South Africa will be like a few years from now. But I am very happy, and I want to take this opportunity once more to thank all the sponsors, Nashua, Standard Bank, Telkom, Cell C, all the sponsors who are going to declare how much they are going to give. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. But we are great dreamers. And you know, the punishment that a dreamer receives is that you work for your dream and you may not realize every element of your dream in your lifetime. But you must work for your dream and you must fight for your dream to be realized. And Africans say that the person who plants the tree may not eat the fruit of that tree. And in Swahili, actually, the person who plants the tree may not sit under the shade of that tree. But they work to make sure that tree must grow so that future generations must sit under the shade of that tree or must eat the fruit of that tree. So it's not about you and I. It's about our country, and it's about the youth, and it's about future generations. Our country may not be in the best shape we want, but we are going to continue to work to realize the South Africa of our dreams. A country we can be proud of. You must take the baton. Thank you very much, and all the best with what you are going to do at university. Thank you very much.
Gauteng, South Africa's economic powerhouse, leading the way in investment, manufacturing, technology, research and innovation. The 5 regions interspersed in and around Gauteng seamlessly collaborate to form a harmonious economic relationship, making Gauteng an integrated city region. Gauteng contributes significantly to South Africa and Africa's GDP. It is the 4th biggest economy on the continent. Over 70 financial institutions and all South Africa's telecommunications companies are based in Gauteng. The JSE's location in Gauteng cements its position as the powerhouse of trade. Gauteng boasts a modern transport infrastructure in which air, rail and road effortlessly connect, making it the gateway to Africa. It is home to Africa's largest and busiest airport, OR Tambo International Airport, and Africa's first high-speed train, the Gautrain. Despite being landlocked, Gauteng prides itself in having the largest inland port in Africa, making it the continent's pulse of connectivity. Pursuant to its commitment towards a radical transformation, modernization
Gentlemen, that was the Premier of the province of Houthang. Another round of applause to the Premier of Houthang for that encouraging and inspiring message. Thank you very much, Premier, for you gave us a life lesson. It is a lesson for the future that we must hold today and into infinity. Now, as we proceed with our program, and I know at some point Premier may dash out, but at this point, Premier, I want you to listen to Thokozani Hadebe. Thokozani is a senior student, a 4th year Bachelor of Law, LLB, University of the Witwatersrand, financially assisted by the Gauteng City Region Academy, funded by the Gauteng Provincial Government, a matriculant of the Kanyali Sedi Secondary School. Listen to how I'm giving you a CV now. But here's what I like about Thokozani is that during his academic career at Wits, he also has obtained 11 distinctions to date. Please, Thokozani, come and address and tell us in 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. The name is Thokozani, the surname is Hadebe. Good morning to everyone in attendance. Special greetings to the Premier of Houthang, David Makhura, the MEC for Education, Lesufi, the Chair of GCRA, Mepesi Moleki, and every member who's in attendance. Special greetings to the parents, to the sponsors, and just to everyone in attendance. I'll share a bit of my story, and I hope at the end of the day, I'll inspire as much as I can. I come from a very small township in Eratanda, Elisede municipality. Born and bred in a township, just like everyone who's in attendance, I think mostly, had the very same challenges that everyone had. But at the end of the day, I knew that you choose and you make a decision on what you want to be in life and how far you want to go. I'm remembering the words of my primary school teacher, Tate Mofokeng, him saying to me, "Son, listen to this. Education is the best investment that you can have." And I asked him, "Sir, what do you mean?" He was like, "No one can ever take that away from you. You will die with it. It's your permanent investment." At that time, as young as I was, I really did not understand what he was saying. But the more I grew, the older I got, that's when I started understanding what he was saying. Every time I get invited to come and speak about my history, my background, and everything that I've achieved, I've made a promise to myself that wherever I go, given the opportunity, I'd like to thank my parent. So Ubaba, this is what he did. My dad used to own those 70s and 80s trucks, those Toyota Dynas trucks. So Ubaba, what he used to do, he would go to town each now and then. He'll go there, where if you're building, you have rubble, he'll come and pick it up. Sometimes he'll come, he'll cut your trees and so forth and so forth and so forth. But importantly, every time when he went to town, he would make sure that he would ask for books for his children. So every time Ubaba got back at home, he would give us books, me and my sister. He would be like, "Thokozani, read this book in English, that is, and explain to me word for word what it means and translate everything in Zulu." At that point in time, he instilled a very, very important principle that I should be able to read, I should be able to write. And from those days on, I was always ahead of my peers in school and in the community. That as little as he had at that point in time, but he made sure that we knew at the least to read and write. Each and every time, whether it's a newspaper, if he found a newspaper, he found a book, or anything that he could find, he'll go back to us and say, "Take this book, fundala, and explain to me exactly what is going on." My point is, as disadvantaged as we are, particularly as parents and so forth, but they played a very, very, very important role in my upbringing. And for that, I'm indebted to them. Importantly, I'd also like to really, really go into depth about the role of my mom. Mama was not working at that time, so Baba would be working, go to town and so forth. Importantly, every time at home, we used to have prayers in the evenings, around your 7, 8. Mama would sit us down each and every now and be like, "We have no investments at home. We have no investments, there's no UIF, there's literally nothing. If it happens that you fail, it is on your own account. If it happens that in life you do not make it, it is on your own account. If it happens that you go to school, you misuse that opportunity, and you are nothing in life, it is on your own account." She explained everything that was going on at home. She was so honest about what we have and what we do not have, to a point whereby there will be times whereby she'll give you her credit card. Ati, "No, hambong withdraw mali." And obviously, and she was like, "Bring back the receipt." And on that receipt, you'll see, "No, there's only 100 rands." And she'll be like, "I'm not showing you all of this for you to be depressed, but I'm showing you all of this so you know where we stand at home. And whatever decisions that you make, I have told you everything and it's not on me." And because of such honesty from my parents and them being upright and honest about everything that was happening at home, that instilled a hunger from my side for me to do more, for me to be very, very hungry about making it in life and me knowing what I want. And from that, I'm very grateful to my mom. Fast forward, because of everything that I was taught at home, I developed that hunger of making sure that I do not misuse any opportunity that I got. High school, same high school as everyone. Did exceptionally well, worked hard, make sure that I study each and every time, make sure that I attend classes on time, make sure that I push myself as hard as I can. With the mindset that knowing that opportunities have an expiry date, and the only thing that I have to my name is to push myself as much as I can for me to make sure that I have funding so that I can push my goals. From an early age, I knew that I wanted to do law. Law was what I loved, law was what I enjoyed, and law was what I was passionate about. But I knew that at the back of my mind, the only thing that really standing between me and achieving what I want is funding. And how do you get funding is by passing. That is the only way you get funding. So I understood my situation, I understood my assignment. That the only thing that I need to do, my mom has explained everything to me. I know the situation at home. Then what do? I pass. My only responsibility was passing. Baba would sit us down and say, we don't have much, but you do have food. We don't have much, but you do have shoes to go to school. Then your responsibility, there will be times that even we didn't even do chores at home. They will be like, your only responsibility is to pass. That is your only responsibility. You don't have accounts, you don't have anything to your name. Your responsibility is to pass. Went to high school, as I'm saying, I passed exceptionally well. Exceptionally well, I passed. Fast forward, I go to Wits, got accepted for LLB. As Ntate Makhura was saying, university is totally different from high school. Totally different. You have freedom. That was my first time having allowance. That is your first time staying alone. That is your first time whereby you don't account to anyone. It is your first time having that freedom. But at that point in time, you choose what you want for yourself. At that point in time, you choose what you want to make of yourself. And at the back of my mind, every time I went to school, I could hear the voice of my mom saying, opportunities have an expiring date, opportunities have an expiring date, opportunities have an expiring date. Did my first day, as difficult it was, I passed. But what also became very important is that university, unlike high school, it's a jungle. You need to be very smart. You need to associate yourself with people that share the same goal as yourself. You need to associate yourself with people who are smarter than you. What I will normally do, and that Lesufi, is that every time when marks come out, I will see who got the highest marks than myself. If I got 70, you got 80, definitely I come to you and be like, can I be your friend? So every time I would check, every time when we received our marks, I would look at the PDF and who got more marks than myself. What is nice in Wits is that you have your student number, which is your actual email whereby you get correspondence. So if I can see your student number that you got 8, you definitely get my email. Be like, no. How are you doing it? And from that point upwards, when I saw that I really associated myself with people who were better than myself, people who were hard working more than myself, people who were more devoted than myself, I completely saw a change in my academic progress. To date, I've achieved a lot at Wits. I've tutored at Wits. I've been on the Dean list at Wits. I've been on the Merit Award at Wits. I've literally done everything that it is to achieve as a student. And all of that coming from a very small township in Ratanda. Brought up in Ratanda, grew up in Ratanda, attended a public school just like everyone else. Most important, I'd like to advise people who are doing first years that it is very important for one, to understand yourself as a person. 2, understand what type of family that you come from. 3, be focused and be consistent. I remember there was a friend of mine, what we used to do, we had pictures of our house that every time on our fridges, so that you constantly remember what you're there to do. Because in that 4 years, in that 5 years, a lot can happen, a lot can change. So what becomes very important is you constantly reminding yourself of what you're there to do. you constantly being reminded of the facts where you come from, you constantly being reminded of the fact that you only have this opportunity and that's it. If you misuse it, that's the end of the road. I saw in my span that we started with 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 plus students. But at the end of the day, we all got reduced to 100. So it's a very, very long journey. That in that very same long journey, a lot can happen. A lot have been cut. A lot have passed on. A lot of things happen in that journey. So my advice that becomes very important that you need to know how to adapt as fast as you can. Get people who are smarter than you. Me and my friends, what we used to do, we had this competition. We used to compete with marks so that we can make sure that we don't forget. We used to keep each other accountable. If you got 70, I got 8, and we studied together, I'm like, no, friend, something is wrong with you. We used to push each other so much that we kept each other accountable. To date, all of my friends, including myself, we signed with good law firms. We're doing our articles. In closure, I'd like to mention 2 things. Firstly, thanks to GCRA. Thank you for the opportunity that is given to us. We have a lot of young people that are smart, that have dreams, but the only thing that is stopping them from achieving their goals is funding. GCRA gives you a new, I call it gives you a new identity. It gives you that thing where when you go to each and any interview that you go to, when you go to a family gathering, you go to any meeting, where people ask you, what are you doing? Be like, you're doing law. And people like look at you, but wow, which university vets? Those are things ordinarily that you would not have had if it was not for GCRA. Secondly, I know a lot of people that were smarter than me, but who never really made it because of funding. So it's a privilege and honor, and I'm very, very indebted and very, very thankful to GCRA for that, very much. Last but not least, I'd like to really thank all educators, if we have any in our midst. People who actually saw potential in us. From a class of 60, from a class of 40, from a class of 30. You know, I'm seeing that the trend that keeps on going, that most of us who really had the opportunity to go as far as your VES, those who are employed post going to universities, it all starts with teachers actually seeing potential in you. It starts with them actually seeing that little potential in you, that no. There's something special about Thokozani, there's something special about Bursary, there's something special about A, B, and C. And from that point on, they nurture that potential. I remember in my high school, there's a teacher that used to keep me very much accountable. She would even say things like, if so those little things where someone sees potential in you and they groom that potential, and today you can see it blossoming, it makes me very, very, very indebted and very thankful to them. All in all, thank you very much to GCRA, thank you very much to everyone, and God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we put our hands as we thank Thokozani. Let's put our hands together as we thank Thokozani. But equally, I want us to put our hands together and a round of applause as we allow the Premier to take leave to go to his next assignment. But all of us are still remaining. Can we rise to give a thank you to the Premier of the province? And must I tell you something about this fellow? And I want to put it to you. Didn't he speak like a lawyer? You saw how he spoke? He spoke like a lawyer. And I want to put it to you that actually, Thokozani is now a graduate of Wits University LLB. He's done. So we have a lawyer here, but not only do we have a lawyer, we have a motivator. I was listening to him and I felt motivated. But I was listening to him and he reminded me, some of you might be young, but we know there is this singer, Shelley Caesar, Honorable John P.C., I recognize you. I remember Mama in a happy way. And I could listen to him singing that Shelley Caesar song. I'm sure she's an inspiration to you. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our Attorney Thokozani Hade, congratulations. As we proceed with our program, I want to show you that we don't only have Thokozanis, but we've also gone to levels of master's degree. So if you stick with GCRA, you might just get there. I'm going to call upon Nolthando Sawuka, who also studied at Wits. So we've got many Witsises here. What do you call yourself, Witsis? Witsis? But she matriculated at Macaulay House. During her academic career at Wits, she obtained 7 distinctions to date, currently studying a master's in environmental sciences. Ladies and gentlemen, Nolthando Sawuka.
Thank you, Project Director. Imagine jumping out of a skydiving plane and discovering that your parachute doesn't work. What images would flash before you? A picture of your son, your family, your friend? Now imagine if the parachute worked and it opened. How differently would you have acted? Probably joyful, right? That's the exact same feeling I'm getting today. It is with great pleasure to address such a fine crowd filled with this audience like you. I would like to give my recognition to the MEC of Education, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, and to our Premier of Gauteng, Mr. David Makhura. I would also like to extend my invitations to all the esteemed guests and my fellow GCRA bursars and all persons at large. My name is Noluthando Tulisile Sawuka, and I am an environmental sciences student registered at Wits University. I am a dedicated young lady from Soweto. It gives me great pleasure to be standing here today as a GCRA postgraduate bursar. I received the opportunity to be funded by GCRA in 2020 while doing my honors degree. The opportunity to be funded by GCRA enabled me to successfully complete my honors degree and as well enroll for a master's degree that I'm currently pursuing. In addition, this great bursary has allowed me to stay on campus, which has tremendously contributed to me focusing on my studies. As a result, I have achieved multiple distinctions throughout my university career. For an example, I've achieved distinctions in advanced GIS and remote sensing, air pollution and synoptic climatology, environmental impact assessments, and sustaining populations and resources. To the new GCRA class of 2022, I would like to advise you guys to balance. Balance between having fun and your schoolwork. Ubumnanda bupheli, kodwa amathuba wethu ayaphela. Make sure you communicate, consult, speak out. There is help out there. GCRA has laid the foundations for us. To the GCRA and its sponsors, I leave you with this verse from the book of Galatians 6, verse 9. Do not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will harvest what you have planted, if you do not give up. Thank you, and God bless you.
So I'm sure HOD Tilima Gasela is very happy because your money has gone to educating an environmental scientist. Maybe some of you also don't know what environmental science is. You do? We are all talking about global warming. We are all talking about pollution. These are the people that will always make sure that we take care of the environment, that we must green the environment, that we must save the planet for the future generations to come. Can we put our hands together as we say congratulations to Nolthando for all and wish you well in your master's degree. Thank you. Now do you see we have postgraduates, but we have all those that are already working as well. When Thokozani was speaking here, he also spoke about the teachers that see us while we are still at school. And I'm grateful that the GCRA, in its endeavor, has also made sure that we fund those that want to become teachers. If they don't get Funza Lushaka bursaries, because we are in education, we must make sure that we still keep this profession, the noble profession of education, of teaching. Now, we have amongst us a graduate from the University of South Africa. They call it the biggest university on the continent. University of South Africa. Not only is she a Bachelor of B.Ed graduate, she qualified as a senior phase, so senior phase will be grade 7, 8, and 9, and FET 9, 10, 11, and 12. I agree we are telling you. But listen to what she majored in the following subjects: economics, accounting, business studies. And she decided to be a teacher, to teach our generations and young people. Can we put our hands together? She's currently, by the way, she's currently a teacher at Malbarton Primary School in Johannesburg South District of the Gauteng Department. So we're not giving you a bursary, we also employ you. So you are my employee. Come, employee. So she is on my payroll. Isn't she lucky? From cradle to grave, there it is. No, she's not at the grave yet.
Greetings to the Premier, MEC, the member of the Legislatures, and the GCRA CEO, and to all protocols observed. Okay. I stand here not by my own might, nor by my own ability, but I stand here on the shoulders of our democracy. Okay. I stand here on the shoulders of our democracy, on the shoulders of the organization that takes pride in itself, in the success of every young South African child, more especially myself. I go by the name Ratsirisizwe Celestina Ramashamole, a daughter of the late revolutionary Teresa Machabana Ramashamole. May her soul rest in peace. She is the MK. She was part of the MK as well as the Shovel 6. And I come from a home of a strong, independent woman who had set the bar so high for me, women who had pushed the envelope, who themselves were raised during the peak of the struggle, but against all odds, thrived to the top of the ladder. Therefore, with the same breath, I was raised to always be the best version of myself. I matriculated in 2014, back in the Vaal, in prestigious Orient High, and I was using the DMV bursary at the time. Then I met the GCRA in 2017, as far as I can remember, to complete my Bachelor's of Education in Senior and FET. This was made possible by all the warriors, all the people that supported me, and most especially my late mother. Through her influence, I stand here as a graduate and a certified educator at Malbarton Primary School back in Johannesburg South. I am licensed to teach, like Sir said, commercial subjects with maths literacy as well as English as home language. And I am currently going to pursue my Bachelor's of Education in Educational Law and Curriculum Policy at University of Johannesburg. And I'll be funded by the GCREC as well. And my future plans is basically to become Board of Examiners and a curriculum analyst. A dream is like a seed that when it's placed in a fertile soil, it germinates. GCRA was a fertile soil that brought the dream to life to me. The bursary was an enabler to get me where I want to be, and I want to get it as a black young woman. Now driving that car, now being able to afford that apartment, these people, they made it possible for me. Young people that are sitting right here, all I want to say is they don't get celebrated enough. As a young person, you choose you over all aspects of life. You don't ever have this whole self-delusion mentality that anybody owes you anything. Okay. Because life has two-way streets. You get what you put in, and most specifically, you need to put in consistency and determination. Okay. Sorry, I don't know. Okay, young people, you don't get celebrated enough. As a young person, you choose you over you, all aspects of life. You never have to have this whole self-delusion mentality of thinking that everybody owes you anything. Take authority over yourself and work with resources that you have. Because life has two-way streets. You get what you put in, which is consistency and determination. Please do me a beautiful favor that when you wake up every morning, choose to be selfish about your dream. Because what you carry inside of you, no one else has. You owe it to your family, you owe it to your community, you owe it to the country that you live in, and most importantly, to yourself. You are the captain of your destiny, the pilot of your future. Thank you.
Now, do you understand that she's on my payroll, and you listen to how eloquent she is, that at her age, she decided to take teaching as a profession. But not only that, did you hear what she said her mother was? Her mother was a member of the Liberation Army that helped to liberate South Africa, and she's now coming to liberate South Africa through education. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Recipients Ramashomule. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I think sometimes when you are at these things, we tend to underestimate how much our government has done. You know, sometimes we often underestimate how much investments that there has been in human capital. Young people who are here, we must also not take it for granted. We could have gone to many others. There are many others that we can't fund, by the way. So you are the best chosen group. But in so doing, We will still want to show you the School of the Arts. Are you ready? Are you happy? Are you fine? I'm going to ask you to come take the stage and get ready as I call now one of the persons who represents parents, because parents must also tell us, has this thing helped you? Because sometimes we might be wanting to help other people, but actually they say, no, it's not helping. So we will be calling as the young people take their position. I'm going to ask Malume Watsepo Munonye, one of the pilot students, Kintateka Tiso Munonye, to come and speak on behalf of parents and tell us whether this government has delivered anything to the parents. Mr. Munonye. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. After he has spoken, we will welcome the Eastern School of the Arts to serenade us a little bit.
Good morning. Let me thank this opportunity that I received from the Gauteng and from the GCRA to invite me to come and represent the parents. This is one of the greatest opportunity that one has received in his life. As I'm standing here, I will be talking about Tsepo. I'm the uncle of Tsepo. Tsepo, can you stand up so that people can see you? This young man that you're seeing today, he lost his mother at the age of 7. And as you know, at times, Bontate, we tend to take different directions and not taking care of our kids. Now, as the uncle, I saw the opportunity and I saw the commitment of this young man. From the time he started schooling, he's been achieving a lot. He's been getting certificates, he's been getting trophies. By the way, we come from Sharpeville. He grew up in Sharpeville, I grew up in Sharpeville. He matriculated, got his grade 12 at one of the schools in the location, Mohlodi Maritime School. He got 6 distinctions. And let me tell you how both of us, or with other kids and my kids, we work. Every year, come January, we sit together, we contract to say, what level are you going to give me? He contracted on level 7s. And fortunate enough, he got 6 distinctions, which based on the contract that we signed, he achieved, which was a good thing for me. And I'd like to applaud him for that. As a parent, we must always make sure that we encourage our students to read. In our contracts, it's 99% of your time is books. Nothing else. Don't worry about other things. I'll take care of them. This is one of the contracts. Any family issues, you need not to worry about. As the uncle, I'll make sure that you're not going to struggle with anything that you require as a student. You must just go there and read. And Tsepo, after he showed interest in this pilot thing, he stayed at home for a year. There was a gap year because there was some issues that the GRC was trying to close up with the aviation school. And I'm happy this morning to stand here to say they are the ambassadors of Gauteng in terms of the pilot. Because as I was listening to one lady from GRC, she said they are the first student to be funded by the GRC to become pilots. Now they are the ones who will be opening doors for other kids who will be interested in the course. So everything is upon them to make sure that they open doors. I have actually adopted a son, Tulani. I make sure I'm on their toes. Every day I'm asking, how was school? How did things go? Last week, Tsepo told me he got 96% when they were writing. And my question to him was, where is the 4%? So he owes me 4%. He must make sure he collects that 4% and close up that 96%. Now, to the parents, please let us support our kids. Today's education, I know, is difficult, but sitting there as he's reading, it encourages him. Asking questions, relevant questions to them. How was school? How did you make it? Do you need help? What is it that I can do for you? Those things, they show to these kids that we are interested in what they're doing. Let us always make sure that we support them. Despite of not knowing, currently Google has turned to be my friend. Because if they ask me something, I'll say, I'll come back to you. I go back Google, come back with an answer. That's how we can assist these kids. And I want to say to the other kids, I'm staying next to the university. I did some research at Lesufi. I stayed next to Val Technical. I went to one chemist there. And the reason why I asked this question at the chemist, I had one student was buying pregnancy test. Then I got worried to say, this student is coming here to buy a pregnancy test. Is he here to learn or is he here for another business? Then I asked the pharmacist, how many boxes of pregnancy tests are you buying per week? She counted close to 20 boxes. More than 20 boxes they buy of pregnancy test. Now, I will say to the students, please let us go to school. I know this one is sensitive. Let us abstain from sex because it will delay you. That 1 year gap that you'll be looking after your child, it's a very big gap. Abstain from sex. The only thing that you must do, look after your books. Also, what I would like to say is, let us avoid bullying as kids. Drugs is a problem in universities. And if we're not going to discourage our kids to drugs, then it's useless for us to sit here to say that we're encouraging them. Let us make sure that our kids, they're not involved in drugs. Let us always try to monitor our kids in terms of drugs. With those words, I would like to say, I want to thank the GCRA for helping, I'll say me, with a bursary to fund Tsepo. Because I was in trouble. I didn't know where to go, what to do. But because of the contract that I had with him, I said, I'll take you to school. Thank God, GCRA became Rescue 911 for me. I want to lift my hand and say, may God bless you guys and help other kids. Don't get tired. And I hope, is Busi here? She's not here. There's a lady by the name of Busi that I was dealing with. That woman, she's patient. And I want to say to her, please don't stop here. Make sure that you assist other kids. GCRA, Houthang government, you are the best. Amen.
I just wanna feel good every day. I wanna feel alive in every moment. I wanna feel the joys of the day. I wanna feel alive in every moment. Said I won't waste time on feeling blue. I won't waste time on things I cannot change. I'm gonna live this day as best as I can, doing everything that feels right, singing la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la. I wanna hear the laughter of a child. I wanna feel a hug from a loving friend. I wanna hear I love you every now and then. I wanna show somebody that I care, 'cause feeling good is a choice that we all make. Just like a smile, the small effort you make. I love to feel the newness of a brand new day. Happy to be alive today, singing la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la. Ooh, yeah, la la la, yeah, la la la. Oh, singing la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la. La 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 la, singing la 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 la. La 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 la. Thank you.
Da 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 de 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 da 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 de de di di de da 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 de di. Do you understand these numbers? Young people, I was trying to show you. Music, source of life. A round of applause for these young people from the Eastern School of the Arts. They come from Davidton. They come from Etwatwa. They are in a public school. So public education is the thing to be. And as well as in Gauteng. All because there is MEC Lesufi. All because there is Premier Makhura. I want to acknowledge another member of the portfolio committee who arrived during the session, who is also the chairperson of the finance committee. So do you see how important we are today? We have the chairperson of the education portfolio committee, but we also now have been joined by the chairperson of the finance portfolio committee in the legislature, who apportions the funds to us, but he also serves on the education committee, honorable, in the legislature they call them Honorable Mr. John Peace. Can we put our hands together to recognize him, ladies and gentlemen? I'm told that there are those who may want to go to ablution facilities because nature may be calling. Just behind here on the left side and the right side, when you need a bathroom, just walk around and you will see the sign that takes you to the ablution facilities should you so require. Secondly, I'm told that because we are nearing the close of our program, we're not going to keep you long. There's a point at which we must also feed you and make sure that you are sustained, that you can go back home. Many of you are students. You don't know what meals they are going to serve at rest. And you know, rest sometimes does not serve the best food. And that's why our allowance comes in handy, that you can go to Steers or go to pizza or buy yourself some halfway. So, there will be, for all of our young people who are going back to universities, there will be pre-packed lunch packs for you when we leave here. So they will direct you to there. But all the guests and guests of the MEC and officials who are here, we ask you to go to Terminal B, the Charles de Gaulle. I hope I pronounce it. It's a Charles de Gaulle. Terminal B. Is that right? Who are the people who are guiding me? But at least you understand where you're going to be going to. I may not have explained it all in all. Now, bomoreki batemo. Do you know bomoreki? People with money. When you thought that we have money, when these people decide that they can give us every profit that they make, we can double what the GCRA bursary is able to do. So we are going to call those who have supported us through the program. There are sponsors from Nashua Kopano, Standard Bank, Telkom and Cell C. At this point in time, I'm going to request and call upon to the podium Advocate Ntokulu, who's the CEO of the Nashua Kopano, to come and give a word of support for the GCRA bursary program. Can we put our hands together for Ms. Advocate Ntokulu?
Thank you, Program Director. Greetings to Premier Makhura in absentia. Greetings to MEC Panyaza Lesufi, the Chair of the Portfolio Committee, MPL Shilwane, CEO of GCRA, Ms. Percy Mulike, fellow stakeholders, last but not least, our guest of honor, all the students, the parents, and the educators. Today, as Neshwa Kopano, we gather here with you in a spirit of celebration. After a long year last year and a promising year up front, today we have an opportunity to pause and reflect and celebrate all the hard work that goes into developing your academic careers and all the support that we get from educators, the department, and the prayers of our parents and our fellow partners. So today we celebrate you. We hope you take it all. We are lucky that we can gather here like this. I overheard someone saying there's 1,000 people under the roof. So 2 years ago, it was almost an impossible feat. So it is a sign of the times that we are rising from the ashes as a country. Let us continue to be safe, but also let's take in the moment that we can gather today and celebrate such a beautiful thing on a Friday, which obviously is naturally a day of celebration, but at least today we have something more meaningful to celebrate. As Neshwa Kopano, we are delighted and proud to be associated with the GCRA and the Gauteng government. Neshwa Kopano is actually the reference to the head office of Neshwa. We are one of the country's leading ICT companies based in Woodmead, but we also operate out of 42 business centers throughout the country. So in essence, you can find us in every corner of the country, making us one of the country's most representative ICT business, and in a hope that over time, our ICT footprint will also serve as a employment platform for beneficiaries of the GCRA. We specialize in ICT services that enable business to work better. So our core speciality is business automation, voice and data connectivity, smart surveillance, software and document management, and energy efficiency. So we consider ourselves as a company of the future, and we call ourselves the total workspace provider. So when you see the brand, it's no longer just a printing company. We have now evolved into a multidiscipline ICT conglomerate. Our association with GCRA and the Bursary program in particular has been successful from the day we started in 2019. And we've continued since then for the 3 years of 2019 to 2021 in donating 500,000 a year towards students that are identified and supported by the GCRA, with emphasis on female students who are pursuing a career in ICT. We are now entering a second cohort of students, and those students who have been supported have been largely successful. They are all at different levels of their career. Some have graduated, and others, obviously, because of the length of their programs, are either in their final year or are looking towards in-service training. So we have found it to be a very successful partnership and an investment that we have made in the skills and the development of young people in the province. We are now negotiating a new MOU that seeks to go beyond just the financial contribution, but also looking at other ways of enabling and growing the skills base of the province. So we are glad to announce that even though the MOU is not finally signed, HOD, we will continue to donate 500,000 a year, starting from this year for another 3 years. It is our sign of commitment that we are making to this partnership, even though the paperwork is not in place, because ultimately a partnership between government and business sector must be based on trust. And that trust is sustained by the fact that students that are supported by the GCRA do produce the goods. So we sleep at night knowing that our money is well spent, and we are hoping that this small contribution will multiply. You don't owe us anything, you just you owe this nation your best service. So as you grow from the little seed that we are planting, we hope that you'll create many other companies that can plow back into the country. We hope that as we put in $500,000 a year, we are also able to convince other corporates in South Africa to match us so that we grow the pool of funding for the GCRA so that we can touch every child who is deserving in this province, and we can also highlight that government and business can work together and inspire a new attitude throughout the nation. So in closing, I would like to say to you as Nashua Kopano, together with our different franchises throughout the country, we believe in you, we wish you well. Don't be discouraged by where you come from, rather be inspired by where you are going. We are a young nation that largely depends on all your efforts, and do not be discouraged. Understand that it is young people who are ultimately going to take this country to the level that it belongs. In closing, I would like to leave you with a saying. I try to choose a saying of a young person, Drew Barrymore. She's an actress, and the young people will understand Drew Barrymore, who says, and as a sign of where we come from, but where we are going, that everyone is like a butterfly. They start out ugly and awkward, and then morph into beautiful, graceful butterflies that everyone loves. So don't look back and be hard done by your background, because we all come from awkward and different backgrounds. It is the future that we are creating that must be our ultimate priority. And ultimately, you'll be graceful and beautiful butterflies that everyone admires in your families, in your communities, in every sector that you want to serve. So as Nashua, we are happy to be associated with you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us, and we trust that the next cohort will perform as well as the previous cohort. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Advocate Nko. You heard an advocate today giving me a verbal contract as we are going to sign a written contract. A round of applause for 1.5 million rands that is coming from Nashua. I like some money. As we proceed, we are calling upon another sponsor from Standard Bank, the head of Youth Integration, GP. I don't know what GP stands for. Is it Gauteng Province? Okay. Head of Youth Integration in the Gauteng Province, Ms. Lerato Apollos. Let's put our hands together for Ms. Lerato Apollos from Standard Bank.
Thank you, Program Director. Greetings to the Premier of Gauteng, Mr. David Makhura in his absence, the MEC of Education, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, the CEO of the GCRA, Ms. Percy Muleke, various chairpersons of the portfolio committees, distinguished guests, heads of department, parents of learners, and over and above all, our esteemed learners. It is indeed an honor to be a part of this momentous occasion. The bursaries that we are celebrating today have had to endure 2 years of COVID lockdown under very unusual circumstances of face masks, social distancing, and new ways of learning. But besides all these challenges, they still rose above the storm, pressed on every side, but they were not crushed. For that, we are extremely proud and only see fit as an organization to really honor you. In Nelson Mandela's words, education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, the son of a mine worker can be the head of a mine, and the child of farm workers can be the president of a country. At Standard Bank, we believe that Africa is our home and we drive her growth. It is of this belief that one of our key pillars is education and financial inclusion. We enable more people to access financial products and services, supporting economic development and reducing inequality. Education enriches people's understanding of themselves and the world. It improves the quality of their lives and leads to a broad social benefits to inclusion in society. Education raises people's productivity and creativity and promotes entrepreneurship and technological advances. In addition, it plays a very crucial role in securing economic and social progress and improving income distribution. The Gauteng Grow Together 2030 Plan of Action also seeks to develop a sustainable, capable state where millions of people will be empowered to take charge of their destiny. It is about building a sustainable future for all, a society characterized by equality, social justice, prosperity, no crime, and gender-based violence, improving the quality of life of its citizens. This is a society free of any form of discrimination and injustice. And this is a society Standard Bank is a part of. Standard Bank offers learners from grade 11 to grade 12 a chance to increase their APS score by affording them to participate in a short Microsoft Digital Literacy course that is free on our online platforms. This course will award learners 10 points towards their APS score, just making sure that children are afforded the opportunity to qualify for the careers of the future. With this particular course, we're able to assist learners to qualify towards careers of the fourth industrial revolution, because with Standard Bank, it can be. Standard Bank is proud to be in partnership with the GCRA through these awards. The investment we have made by funding awards worth over 165,000 will be divided among the Gauteng top 3 no-fee paying schools, LSEN, SIP schools, and the top 20 Gauteng top achievers studying towards the 10 high growth sectors who are GCRA bursars. This is an indication of our commitment to ensuring that we support the access to inclusive quality education and the promotion of lifelong learning opportunities, and help Africa and Gauteng specifically harness opportunities of the fourth industrial revolution. This investment is an aid to assist our workforce of tomorrow to enable them to put a deposit towards a car when they finish their studies, or put a deposit towards rental accommodation, a house, whatever it may be, because this money will go into an interest-bearing account. So that in the future, when they're ready to start and go into employment, they have a firm foundation to start their future properly. We are building a legacy with the class of 2022 of the GCRA. We do this because we believe that the support that we are giving you through the GCRA, the GCRA and the Department of Education, together with Standard Bank, it can be. Thank you.
That is Standard Bank, ladies and gentlemen. Can we put our hands together to thank Standard Bank? And there are young people who are investors already. Have you heard that? They got some money in the banks. As we move along, we have many partners, and we would want to recognize them all, because if we don't, we may not be able to get the money next year. From Telkom, the head of Telkom Foundation, CSI, Corporate Social Investment. This is a big word, Corporate Social Investment. Miss Sarah Tinto will come and tell us how Telkom is supporting us. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I got to set a data for university studies.
Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Premier in absentia, Mr. David Makhura, the Honorable MEC Panyaza Lesufi, the various members or chairs of the portfolio committees, the Director General, GCRA CEO, colleagues in the various government departments in the Gauteng province, our fellow partners, parents, and our beautiful learners from this beautiful province. As a company that's solely invested in South Africa, we are very aware of the many challenges burdening our youth today. We know that the rising youth unemployment means that many young people in this country are kicked out of the mainstream economy. Our investment in education as Telkom is premised on the belief that the only way that our youth would be able to turn the tide is to eventually get education and eventually participate in our mainstream economy. Over the many years, Telkom has invested in various education programs, including supporting our learners, supporting our teachers, and deploying ICT in the various schools. Over and above the support we have afforded in today's occasion, we also have a bursary program where we have spent in this year alone 5 million in the children of this beautiful province. I think it is important for us to just share some insights as a company that's involved in the tech space. And I think both the Premier and the MEC have spoken to some of the points I wanted to make. We are constantly seeing a rapid real-time shift in the workplace trends. More and more as businesses, we're looking for young people who have the ability to think creatively, who have the ability to identify and solve societal problems. We are also seeing that technology is playing a very key role in disrupting careers and in disrupting the jobs that we know or have known to in the past. And as Telkom, we obviously are not very spared from this change that we're seeing. And we too are going to demand that when you come into the workplace, obviously having embarked on this journey, you are going to bring forward with you these new skills. Whilst this may sound very grim, I think we see it as an opportunity for you as young people afforded this opportunity by the GCRA to acquire the much needed skills through enrolling in tertiary institutions. Whatever career you have decided upon, I know some of you want to be artists, you want to be accountants, want to be scientists, want to be engineers and so on. Just do bear in mind that technology is rapidly changing the way we think about careers. And I'll give you just one very useful example. As Telkom, we're a business that is known to be selling airtime, but more and more we're venturing into spaces that we never thought would venture into. Education, health, insurance, we are competing with the likes of Standard Bank. So much as Standard Bank is talking about their financial products, we are also talking about financial products that we will offer through our technology. So when we think about hiring, we are not going to just look at hiring engineers. We are going to hire teachers, we are going to hire doctors, we are going to hire financial people. So the world and the lines are getting very blurred. So as you embark on this journey as young people, do make sure that you think out of the box. You are an engineer, you are a teacher, but do think about the way technology is disrupting your careers. I want to end up by saying, with the kind of excellence that you've displayed, evidenced obviously by your matric results, I have no doubt in my mind that you are going to emerge at the end of this phase as heroes, not only to yourselves, to your families, to your communities, to our beautiful province and to our beautiful country. I am very grateful that Gauteng, through the Premier and the MEC, have extended themselves, of course supported by us, to help you navigate this very exciting phase that you're about to enter. It is our hope that when you are done, we will look to you to come and join us in our various corporates as innovators and as problem solvers. But importantly, that some of you are going to come and become what we now know to be job creators. I thank you.
So Standard Bank, you are in trouble. Telkom is on the way. And Telkom, you know, when you take teachers, we are happy. Because teachers are the future. Now, let's hear what Celsi brings. So Celsi is going to bring something too. Let's put our hands together for Ms. Letiwe Hlachwayo, Executive Head, Corporate Affairs and Communications, Celsi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Program Director. I'd like to greet you all, and before we go ahead, just observe all the protocols. In his absentia, I would like to acknowledge the Premier of Gauteng, the Honourable David Makhura, the MEC for Department of Education, the Honourable Panyaza Lesufi, all members of the Executive Council and the Provincial Legislature, of course, the Executive Mayors of all municipalities in Gauteng that are present, the CEO of GCRA, Ms. Percy Leke, and of course, all other representatives from the schools, the various departments, the fellow donors as well, and also, importantly, the parents and more so the learners that we hear about today. Personally, I would like to start off by actually expressing my personal feelings of today. And one of them is the fact that I'm sitting there feeling very humbled. And I sort of made a comment to Percy sitting next to me that I'm humbled by the fact that we don't ever stop to acknowledge the amount of work that the government actually does, and the provincial Gauteng cohort specifically. And just listening to the speeches that have been made, actually realizing just how much work and how much contribution into the future of this country is being made. And we tend to focus on the negative, but I think today it's good that we're focusing on the positive. So I'm feeling very humbled about that. Secondly, I'm feeling very hopeful and very inspired. Hopeful because I feel like I'm sitting in the presence of a potential and the presence of future leaders that are going to contribute highly to the future of this company, of this country. And it's starting today and happens every day. And we never stop to actually acknowledge that. So I'm feeling very hopeful and inspired as a citizen of this country and as an individual. Those are the personal comments that just came up as I was sitting down there. And as a CELSI representative, I'd also like to acknowledge my colleagues with whom we work very hard to see how CELSI as a citizen, as a corporate citizen, can find ways to contribute to this country. So it's not only about us sitting down and finding ways to make money, but it's also saying how do we actually contribute to the rest of the citizens in the country. And we take that very seriously. So I thank you for that partnership internally. One of the things that's been said quite a lot is how much the world is changing. And I'd like to describe, people talk about the fourth industrial revolution, and people don't actually stop to think, what is actually the industrial revolution that we're talking about, that we're seeing, that's impacting us today? It's defined, and Klaus Schwab, who's the chair and co-founder of the World Economic Forum, describes it as those technologies that have a profound way in how we view the world and how we see the world and how we experience it. And they have such a fundamental change in how we live, how we learn, how we work, and how we entertain. And that is essentially the space that we're in as a company. We're in an ICT space, which means that we are driven by technology. We have to find solutions that are technology driven, but to do that, we have to be able to have the people that will be able to deliver and innovate solutions for the country so that we are competitive. And so we play a significant part as a corporate in bridging this digital divide, in helping people embrace this online world. And looking at the learners today, it's actually quite impressive that in the 2 years of the lockdowns and 2 years of COVID that we've been in, they're still able to produce distinctions and so forth. I mean, it's testament to the amount of courage and grit that they actually have. And we playing our part in making sure that we provide those tools that actually enable learning to happen in whatever environment. So part of the support that we've given to the students is exactly that. We've given a number of laptops, we've made routers available, we're giving data for the period of the studying. We've enabled digital learning to take place, so they don't have to stop. They can stop by the side of the road if they needed to and continue learning. And so we're making it possible that the reality of the digital world that we're living in is not a foreign concept, but they're very much able to thrive in that environment. But because we're in ICT, it's also a vested interest that we have in making sure that digital access happens. And so we're involved in a number of initiatives that are about enabling that. We are in partnership with the likes of Data Science Academy, where they train data scientists. They train them in artificial intelligence, simulation, robotics, etc. All of the future skills that we're talking about today. This year, we have sponsored 200 girls and boys primarily focused on girls, but it's both genders. And what they do there is coding, again, from the ages of 10 to 18. We're supporting these students from that age right up to the high school age in being able to actually function in a world that requires innovative solutions. And this year, we've carried on with our bursary scheme where we supporting 5 million rands that we give to bursary fund that is ongoing. And we've been at that since 2016, somewhere there. And we've continued that every year. And so we're proud that we've been able to have the opportunity to contribute as meaningfully as we can to all the initiatives that drive growth and societal cohesion at great length. So what we're hoping today and ongoing with the partnership that we have with the Gauteng Department of Education is to empower our learners who are our future leaders, as has been spoken, and be able to thrive in a world that will need digital solutions, that will need technology to thrive. And that will also, hopefully, these kids are also able to devise solutions that address some of the socioeconomic challenges that we have as a country and as a continent. And that some of those innovative solutions will also be able to build upon a base that has been set, but also make this country competitive. And that's what we're hoping for. And as CELC, we are dedicated to bridging this digital divide, especially in communities, even far-flung ones. Past couple of weeks, we've also been involved in opening a couple of digital labs in schools that would ordinarily perhaps not have that access. So we've opened up a lab, and on Tuesday we're doing that again, where we've kitted out a whole area where the kids can actually have the opportunity to learn digital skills. It's been kitted out with the servers, the right technology that will help them thrive and learn in the right environment. And that is a commitment that we've given. We have a commitment to the partnership with the Department of Education, and one of them is the discussion around a very broad youth development ecosystem that we're looking at, and that will be ongoing discussions. I do not want to make any commitments in rand value right now. But that will be in the process of our discussions, but we certainly are committed to this relationship going forward. And the words of Malcolm X say that education is the passport for tomorrow, because tomorrow belongs to those who work for it hard today. And so the words to the learners today is that, as our motto goes, changing the world, is that what you're having today and the support that you're getting from parents, from teachers, from the department, etc., is the tools that you have, the tools that you will use for tomorrow. And what you then get out of that is your ability to not change only your lives, but the lives of communities, the lives of your families, and effectively change the world in total, because one day we may have the first African astronaut, not a tourist astronaut like we had a few years ago, but a real astronaut who'll go up to space and find solutions. And that is something that I am definitely looking forward to. And so with those words, I would like to congratulate you for all your hard work and wish you all the very best for the future. And I'm sure that we're in the presence of greatness as we sit here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so ever so much, CELC. I can hear that you don't want to commit on the monetary figure on the other matter. But I'm on the way. You made a commitment. At least you gave us a promissory message. Ladies and gentlemen, MEC, I'm bringing to you for another serenation until we bring back. This is the school, the Eastern School of the Arts, one piece, after which we call the MEC to hand over the bursaries together with our partners from Nashua, after which my chairperson, you see, at least you are doing an oversight on me, I'm working today. We have delivered on the bursaries. So that number that we report in the bursaries is here today, Chairperson. We will call our chairperson to come and do a vote of things. Are you ready, my young boys and girls? Listen to this piece. This comes from the School of the Arts in a public school closer to Davidton, in a township in Ekurhuleni, in South Africa, in the Gauteng province. It is not far-fetched. Locally made, locally manufactured, locally developed. Everything about it local as lekker. Our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the Israel School of the Arts.
Zamba bye, zamba zamba ba humamai, zamba humamai. Where I zamba bye, zamba zamba ba humamai, zamba humamai. Where I your name oh my mile Congo da nazizinjai oh nazizinjai kodwa oh my mile Congo te hamba yo oh ye hamba yo your name oh my mile Congo da nazizinjai oh nazizinjai kodwa oh my Congo te hamba yo oh ye hamba yo Baba somai wemdali wa sungangila kelungvike bathi ngisokolweni lakho balahlukololwa bafuna ngamindlela sabo bafuna ngisuke kuwe Baba soma wemdali wa sungangilai celungvikele bathi ngisokolweni lakho balahlukololwa bafuna ngamindlela sabo bafuna ngisuke kuwe Das Pandelai, Angnata, Ngempilo yami, Zamela bantwana basekhaya, bantwana basekhaya, ngifuna bakhule beflesaya, bakhule beflesaya, ngifuna netefuna manje Christian school, Efuna manje reisha skola, ngemoto standwa nguye, standwa nguye basithi intwana yami vele bazoqala. Vele bazoqala, ungibona ngamane transa, wona ngame tra. Baya ngizona ab, bangizona ngena doch, angazi mase ngithangasile abantu bazoyenzani ab. Shuthi khona into abayibonayo kodwa umayimile. Umayimile. Kongote hamba yo, oye hamba yo. You're more than my mile, mama, my mile. Oh, Congo te hamba yo, Congo te hamba yo, Congo te hamba yo, oye hamba yo. Thank you, thank you.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for these young boys. At this point in time, let me recognize as I call to the stage the MEC for Education in the province, Honorable Lesufi, together with Advocate Nto, to come to the stage to hand over the checks. Now, this is the moment. Young people, when you thought that there was no money, look at these checks that are coming, because they are the demonstration of the allowance that's coming your way. I want to also recognize, as they come, I want to recognize the following sponsors, acknowledge them. We want to thank All Mutual for delivering dignity packs. Thank you very much, All Mutual. We want to thank the support of Downtown Music Hub, CEO Ms. Pume Mtembu. We want to thank you, Pume. We want to thank Black Brain, Mandla and founder of Black Brain, Black Brain, sorry. You can see that I'm becoming dyslexic a little bit. Black Brain Production, thank you very much. And now, have you all heard of Konga? Konka is in the house too. So we want to thank Konka Kutwano for the support. We want to thank all of our partners and in the bursary program. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not believe that we had a proper bursary scheme, here is the evidence. See how much money MEC Lesufi is now presenting to the class of 2022 in the Gauteng province as support for financial assistance to the schools. 326,698,000 rand. And Nashua adding another 500,000 rand, plus we know that next year is another 500,000. Another 500,000. Let's put our hands together. Thank you very much, MEC. Can I, HOD Matilda, may I ask you to come as well, because we have 5 million rands from the Department of Agriculture
5 million rands from the Department of Agriculture. HOD Matilda is here. 5 million rands. 5 million rands. She's HOD 5 million. I will join her. Are we okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'm making this announcement when we are done with the program. Those that are seated on this right side, on the left side of the hall, on my right side, students, your food parcels will be distributed from that angle. Those that are seated on this left side, from the door this way, your students, your food parcels will be distributed from that side. If you were to go and queue over there, there's enough for every one of us. Let's make sure that we do not cause stampede as we move. Everybody's going to receive. And again, all of the officials, guests and officials, if you go to Terminal B, that's where we will be going, and the MEC and the MPLs and the other senior officials will go to Charles de Gaulle, where you were earlier on this morning. At this point, I'm now calling upon, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman I'm calling is responsible for making sure that our annual performance plans, our strategic plans, our business plans, all get the favor of the legislature and we get the money. That 326 would not have come had it not been of the support that we received. Can you help me put together and welcome to stage the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee for Education in Gauteng, Honorable Madome Chilwani, to give vote of thanks.
No, thank you. Tobela. Tobela. Dumelang. Sanbonan. My work is simple. Is to thank. But before I thank, let me appreciate the work that's been done by the department. MEC, Kiabona Chelte Yagai. I don't want inquiries. And it's evident that is good. We appreciate it a lot. Let me begin by thanking the sponsors who partner with government. It's very easy to do work on your own, but the fact that you are partnering government, it shows confidence in government. And I'm sure the MEC and the Premier earlier on said it, that they are very grateful for that, the confidence that you are showing into government. I can't name all of you, Babangata, Kutluli Konga. So for those who go to Konga, your money is not going to waste, clearly. It's coming back. MEC, the department HOD and the two HODs that are present here, thank you very much for this program and the good work that you are doing in the department for ensuring Houthang Department of Education remains not the best but amongst the best, also the best at the same time. Repalaki that thing, fella, that smaller nyana matric result, we become number 2, but eventually we'll go back where we belong, the summit of the country. The honorable members, honorable member MPC, the chairperson of finance, is also a member of the committee, also the former chair. I took over from him, so he continues to impart that knowledge of the committee upon me. More importantly as well, the parents who are here, continue to do your work to guide the children, to ensure that they stay in line. I know it's not easy to raise a child. I'm a father of 3 boys, I know. You can imagine who busy going through. So I know it can't be an easy. So thank you for the parents. I'm sure the learners have spoken very well. They do appreciate the work that the parents have been doing. And my message to the recipients, the bursary recipients, that it's important. The world does need dreamers. It also needs doers. And more importantly, it needs dreamers that do. And you have shown here, all of you are here, and those that are not here, that you dreamed and you did and you are here. And you must keep in line with that mentality that as you dream, you must do. Then you'll be resolving the problems of society. So with that said, thank you very much. Thank you to the Eastern School of Arts. The future is very bright here. All right, thank you very much.
Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to this fantastic group. Now, we have come to the end of our program. But this group, it now is up to you. You may decide to leave immediately, or you may elect to stay for the next 10 minutes as different tables are taken through, but this group will remain here to serenade us. So I'm going to ask the communications team, where is my team, Ntombi? I'm going to suggest that as this group continues to do what they best do, play music, you may start to direct table by table for the students to go pick up their meal packs, and afterwards, they may go to the buses, then the MEC, the MPLs, our sponsors may take leave, but you may also elect to stay to listen to the music, as I indicated. Thank you very much.
Mic check. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza. You know what to say, kurena rufumu mamoko. You know what to say, kuchengeta rufumu mamoko. Java pavata parore pasimararamo. Anti sina kuchita utachiwana. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza. Kuseri kuva kuna muna mutambarumbi tapererwa. Tony Panyaza. Kuseruga kufa kona muna mocha barumbi tapererwa. Tony Panyaza. Kuseruga kufa kona mocha uro mambu tapererwa. Tony Panyaza. Kuseruga kufa kona mocha uro mambu tapererwa. Tony Panyaza. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza. Oh, Toddy, what shall we do? Senza.
Testing, testing. Ewe udlala ngam, undibisa. Testing, testing, testing. Ewe udlala ngam, undivisa kabuhlungu. Nendlela ungiphethe ngayo uvusa balele. I'm sorry my baby, ndicela uxolo. Ndikuxolele my baby, you didn't mean it. Ndisakuthanda mna, I'm sorry my baby, ndicela uxolo. Ndikuxolele my baby, you didn't mean it. Ndisakuthanda mna, uvusa balele. Uvusa balele. Uvusa balele. Uvusa balele. Iao, 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 iao. Iao, 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 iao. Angena amanzi endlini, dilika intaba, masibuyelane. Silibale izinto zakudala. I said I miss you, I really miss you. I'm sorry my baby, ndicela uxolo. Ndikuxolele my baby, you didn't mean it. Ndisakuthanda mna, uvusa balele. Uvusa balele. Uvusa balele. Uvusa balele. Iao, 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 iao. Thank you so much.